Let's take a look at Sunday. How do we stream in the final day of week 3 to win our fantasy matchup? Category leagues, points leagues, Michael Bolton leagues.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NBA fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and there comes a point in your life where you just have to give up hope. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Thank you also for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen every day, and for making it the #1 sports podcast network in the United States. Thank you to everyone who has listened, watched, liked, banged, double banged, all the way through to help us get to that goal. Thank you very much. We are here to talk about Sunday in the NBA. We're looking ahead to how we can stream guys in, and we have an okay day, 7 games on. There is an early one, so be aware of that. A 3:30 p.m. Eastern start. Houston and Milwaukee. In Milwaukee, so that's a 2:30 Central Time start, but 3:30 p.m. Eastern start of Sunday's 7 games. How late do we actually go? Not that late. Not the usual time. So 6 p.m. Pacific so 9 p.m. Eastern is the final tip-off for Sunday's action. We've also got some injuries that we're waiting on. Andrew Nembhard's return could be coming across this weekend, so we watch on that one. Al Horford missed the last Warriors game. Maybe he plays. Same with Steph Curry. And the other major one is going to be Domantas Sabonis, who missed the last game for the Kings. But we do have some statuses that have been updated already. The Thig Hogsman is out. Tobias Harris is out in Detroit. And his replacement, Isaiah Stewart, is also out. So, what does that mean? Well, I think it means you're going to get Paul Reed playing the backup center minutes. He has to. But will he play power forward? But also rugged Ronnie Holland. A pretty big role increase coming for him. So they are down a lot of their forwards. They can also use more guard-type players, more for Caris LeVert, and push Asar Thompson up to the 4 as well. But that is a lot of minutes. That's 50-ish minutes out of a regular 240 lineup for the Pistons for that day. So be aware of that. Aaron Wiggins has been ruled out for the Thunder as well for Sunday's game. It seems like just every day there's someone different that's ruled in or ruled out for that Thunder team at this point, and I don't know when they're going to get fully healthy. All right, let's take a look at streaming options. I've already given you a bit of the heads up that that's what we're doing. Let's start with Points League streaming. Who are we looking for? Yahoo Points, 5 names that are available in at least 65% of leagues, and including one that is available in 90% of leagues. Wendell Carter Jr. remains available. And you might think that that's fair enough. I get it. Is his upside high? No. But is he solid enough? Also, I think so. I think he's solid enough. But also, for a day like this, 7 games on, a 30-minute night starting center, I think you should look at it. What about the national tile? Jarace Walker. Hello. Walker is putrid at shooting, but he's got the opportunity here. Now, there is a possibility, I don't think this will happen, that if Nembhard plays, Walker would move to the bench. I think it would pretty obviously be Ben Shepherd, but Walker will move to the bench eventually. But just watch that one. But I like that. I like Aaron Nesmith as well. Again, just horrific shooting. Although he is a good shooter, he just cannot handle the increased role, but you occasionally get the good game. But we're just banking on opportunity with both of those players. The next guy we're going to take a look at is someone I'm going to look at a little bit more in depth, and that is the chicken, Cedric Coward. Cuckoo-ca-cha! Cuckoo-ca-cha! Wow, that sounds really loud. Apologies if that's really breaking your eardrums, but Cedric Coward has been excellent. He's played 6 games in college. 6 games in college last season. His previous games were at a really low level. Didn't play in Summer League. Was bad in preseason. And then came out absolutely on fire. There are a few things to talk about here with Cedric. He is still available somehow in 65% of Yahoo leagues, leading me to think that 60% of leagues might be inactive. He is averaging 29 fantasy points over his last 8 games. Not his last 8 games. I don't know what his ass is doing. His last 8 games. Which is a good number. If you're in a standard 156 player league, 29 very easily gets you onto a roster. If you're in a 130-player league, a 10-team league, it's a little bit more borderline, but there's value in it. But one of the major things, this is what I like what's happened. Early on in the season, he was getting by with sky-high blocks and steals and absolutely insane shooting numbers. That's pulled back. In fact, over the last 4 games, he had 2 steals in one of the games. And that's it. And he hasn't had a single block in his last 5 games. So, as when you compare and contrast that to the beginning of the season, where he had 2 steals, 1 steal, and then he had like 1 block and then 0, 1, 1, and shooting elite percentages, you go, okay, it's different now. Now, he's still shooting well. 56, 20, and 70% from the field. But the defensive things haven't been there. But what is happening to compensate that is the minutes are pushing up. Instead of being a 23-minute guy, a 22-minute guy, he's getting 28 or 29 now. One thing to watch, though, is that he has not hit 20% usage in 4 games. He has had a negative plus-minus in his last 5 games. So while he looks impressive, it looks smooth, the shooting numbers are great, they're going in, his playing time is going up. His defense, not there. Defensive stats. His usage, lower, not getting involved. And his on-court impact, well, not as good as what it was to begin the season, where he had a plus 36 game, a plus 4 game, and a plus 24. So, I do think he's a good streamer, but I think lost in some of the stuff. Again, it's hard to criticize. He had 21 and 9 last game. That's awesome, right? But there are just a few little things here that was contributing to the all-around numbers of Coward, which are starting to pull back. But still, we like him as a stream here. The other name on this list is someone, again, who just continues to play well, and that is Mr. Black. I saw someone leave a comment on one of my videos saying, man, why does this guy keep recommending Anthony Black? And if you knew anything about me as a person and my views on Anthony Black, you'd know that I don't think he's good at all. Never have. Thought he was a terrible pick at pick 6. Would never have selected there. Would have picked Cason Wallace there every day of the week. Have been very much against Anthony Black for the first 2 years of his career. Like, is it 2 years or 3? 2 years. This is his 3rd. Very much said he's not good. But at the moment, he is good. Well, he's better. He's actually averaging 27 minutes a night. He's pushed Tyus Jones out of the discussions. He's averaging double digits, 12 points with 3 assists and 3 rebounds and 1.2 steals and 0.9 blocks. Now, for fantasy points, that's not the be-all and end-all, but he is at least in the rostering discussion. Not someone to just cast aside. I don't believe, like, at all. What about ESPN points? Who do we look at there? Well, the names are pretty similar. Wendell Carter Jr., Jarace Walker, the Hong Kong mattress, Cason Wallace, who is available in a lot of spots still. And again, much like a lot of these players, his value is higher in category formats because of his extra reliance on steals and no big volume in terms of scoring. But ESPN points, he is still a really solid option for us to use, a really solid option to have on your roster. Like if I have a look at his numbers in ESPN points leagues, like it doesn't make sense that he's so widely available. He is the 96th ranked player for the season in ESPN points leagues. And I don't care how shallow your league is. Even if your league is 100 players deep, like that, he falls within it. If you've got 8 teams, he falls within it. It makes no sense that he would be available in 65 or more % of leagues. I don't remember the exact number, but that's how much availability there is there. I do have doubts long-term about Wallace, but yeah, like that's pretty obvious, I think. The next one is Aaron Nesmith, who, again, we just talked about him on the Yahoo points section. And then the chicken again, Cedric Coward, who remains under-rostered over on ESPN. All of the same things that I just spoke about with Coward apply. So apply them. We'll come back and we're going to talk category league streaming for Sunday to try and win your matchup. Today's episode, though, is brought to you by Robinhood. Your ambition just met its match. With Robinhood, you play for the win, not just on game day, but every day, locking in on every opening, beating your PR and beating it again. Channel that drive into your money. Robinhood puts you in control of your money. Trade stocks and ETFs, options, futures, and crypto all on one platform. And you can now build and execute your own trades from a desktop with Robinhood Legends advanced tools. Or take advantage of the new Robinhood strategy with a tailored portfolio managed by a team of experts. You expect more from yourself, so expect more from your money. Get started today at robinhood.com/yourmoney. Again, that is robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move. Today's episode is also brought to you by Game Time. With basketball season officially here, there is nothing that is better than getting to an arena to watch a live game. Your favorite team, you might be scouting fantasy prospects. You might be checking to see whether Keshad Johnson in Miami is going to step up into a role. You'd be pretty weird if that's what you went for, but whatever, because on Game Time, you can get the best deals. In fact, Game Time has NBA tickets for under $25. It gives you the advantage for scoring amazing NBA tickets fast, easy, and stress-free. So take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. The code is LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. We are here, and we're talking streaming across the day on Sunday. Remember, there is an early game, so get your lineup set, sorted, waivers ready. 3:30 p.m. is the first game that's on. And let's talk category leagues. Who can we use in just the points category? We're going to tie this together for big and small builds at the end of this show as well. Gary Trent. He is going to get minutes. He is hit or miss, we know this, but we are trying to play the averages and the outcomes. The future MVP, Kyle Kuzma, who is definitely outplaying Bobby Portis. He's had better games over the last week than he had to begin the season. We're not advocating a long-term grab and hold of Kuzma, but if you want something long and dangly and pink, maybe you look at one of Kuzma's past sweaters and add him onto your team. Jalen Wells, maybe, he's a bloody risky option, but he's available everywhere, and he is a starter, and there is a chance that he gets you double-digit scoring. Ziaire Williams, also in Brooklyn. There's no Cam Thomas, so shots are available. And I thought that they'd give a little bit more to, say, a Tyrese Martin, but they just pushed him out of the rotation completely. Well, no, not completely, but they cut his role way down, and even Terrence Mann's minutes were lower. So just watch Ziaire there. And then, of course, we do go to the man that is somehow averaging double digits this season in scoring, and that is Mr. Black. So he's another name that you can take a look at. What about for three-pointers? Who's a good long-range bomber? And the rules apply. The rules still apply here. You can, and what do I mean by that? Well, I probably should be clearer. The easiest category to stream. You can stream threes every week. It is easy. There are so many guys that sit on the waiver wire that you can look at and go, what if he has 6? Easy to do. Easy to do. Not many categories have that ability. In fact, literally none, because this is the best streaming category. And of course, it also helps if your name's Sam. Gary Trent's on the list. Slam and Sammy Houses on the list. Big Boom AJ Sam Green is on the list, as well as Sam Duncan Robinson. All of these guys are elite type stream options, and sometimes they do a little bit more. If you hit a lot of threes, as you're well aware, that also gives you points. So if they hit 5 threes, you're getting minimum 15 points. So that's a nice little bonus here, right? And that is why, also, part of the reason, three-pointers should just not be a category in fantasy. It is an insane category that we keep as a category. But because it was instituted 30 years ago, we keep it. Because it's just points. It's scoring. It's half the game. It is an insane category to have. Anyway, the other one there to look at is a name that I just mentioned in the points category as well, and that is Ziaire Williams, who's only getting 24 or 25 minutes or so, but he's doing enough that he's at least a stream option here. We can now move from three-pointers into one of the other smaller guard-type categories, and we talk assists. The hardest category usually to find off the waiver wire. Now, we saw with Cam Thomas out for who knows how long that we actually got the Nets playing some rookies. Drake Powell played 27 off the bench. I don't think that's anything except for a deep league start. But Yegor Dioman started at point guard. Now, a lot of people will run to pick him up. I still think that he actually looks quite bad. I very much worry about what on earth he does offensively at all. Can't score twos. 3-point shooting is still, what is it even at the moment? I don't think his usage is low. Let me just double check. Pretty sure his 3-point shooting is still not very good. But the fact that he was able to get a starting job now and move from 14 minutes or so while Ben Saraf was sent down to the G League is very encouraging. Let's look at his 3-point shooting numbers. 33%, not that bad, but he's shooting 34% overall. And that's actually down to, Jesus Christ, 24% over the last 2 weeks from the field. 20% from 3. Yeah, this is why, those are the numbers why I hated him as a prospect. I don't think the big fella can shoot. Also not hitting free throws either. And not drawing them. Just a horrific fantasy profile. But, what he does do, and we saw this in that start, he can get assists. He had 7 of them. That's bloody good. 8 points. He did hit 2 threes in that game. Didn't draw a free throw. He had to steal. Look, the game overall was okay. If you buy that sort of a line and that sort of minutes, there is something in that. But at the moment, all I'd be treating him as an assists streamer. I don't believe he's hitting 2 threes in a game. I do believe he's not taking free throws. I do believe he's not scoring. I do believe he's not having usage. And I do believe he's not playing big minutes. But the assists are really valuable. And they might just be enough to edge you to pick him up. Push you, maybe. That's a better word. Cole Anthony. This is where we drop off here. Because Cole Anthony might be a 4 assist player. Although, with Kevin Porter out, he has really upped his playmaking in Milwaukee. So there's a chance he actually out-assists Gelman. And I like him as even a 12-team assist streamer here, Cole. And then we get a little iffier. Mr. Black is only averaging 3 assists on the season. Okay. It's still 3. He can get you 4 or 5. Trendon Watford has been getting like some big assist games, but as a weird backup big man, I'm not going to feel like incredibly confident about that. And the other one is Cam Spencer. No Scott Pippen. No Ty Jerome. He's got the role over Javon Small behind Ja Morant. His last couple of games have been pretty solid, Cam Spencer. And again, if you are not, and this is part of the reason why when we're doing drafts and we're talking about drafting strategy and I'm crafting things like the Durant formula for head-to-head leagues, is that unless you go hard for assists, you cannot really get them. You can't just grab them off the waiver wire. Occasionally, you'll get a couple of pop-ups. It's also why if someone interesting takes over a starting point guard role and you go, it might be bad, but where do I find a 30-minute starting point guard? You don't. So you take chances on them. And finding the assists, it's why like normally looking at Joe, I'd be like, absolutely a write-off. You're an idiot. You're actually a Harrison Barnes level of idiot in terms of fantasy value in picking him up. But just a point guard who can get assists is impossible to find. And that's what, again, Isaiah Collier, I don't think he's that good. I think he's got so many detriments to his game, but that one category might be what you need. Now, if it's not, then there's literally 0 point. But it is an interesting little way of strategy that it gets talked about a bit, but I don't think it gets talked about enough, and it definitely doesn't get talked about enough in drafting. And yeah, we're not in drafting mode at the moment, but if I repeat these things often enough in season, then when we head to next season, we'll understand them a little bit more. And that idea that like if you have to go early on guys because they've got assists and they might be bad at field goals, or you just eschew the category totally. Because it's not like I'll just do it later. Doesn't really happen that way, unfortunately. Let's go now to free throw percentage. The other category, no, steals, my bad. One of the other categories associated with the little guys. Alex Caruso, the rabbit hunter. This category used to be one of those ones where players got really overvalued. Think a couple of seasons of Joe Ingles. Think of Robert Covington, who was great, mind you, but Dyson Daniels, the steals would make them look like they're a second-round player. Now it seems that you can find quite a few steals guys just sitting on your wire. Caruso, 5 steal upside. Josh Okogie, 4 steal upside. Gary Trent, 4 steal upside. Mr. Black, probably 3 steal upside. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, probably 3 steal upside. It is possible these days. You're not going to find the persistent Dyson Daniels level 3 steals a game. But honestly, you will find at times, and we just highlighted that Cason Wallace is on the waiver wire. Cason Wallace on the waiver wire. You're going to find steals. It is a thing now. It is a highly streamable category now. Even though it is the most variable category day to day and year to year, as combining those two things together. So some pretty interesting steals stream guys there. Let's take a look at free throw percentage. Who are some guys that can help you swing that category? This is a hard category because the volume of these guys is not high. And we don't usually, well, I do, but as a general consensus, it is not considered free throw attempts or free throw percentage. It is not considered a low volume category. But it is. If we're going to consider 3-point shooting or 3-pointers made a low volume category, prone to variance, which it is, when the league average is like 2 per game in a fantasy league, we have to sort of consider free throws and free throw percentage the same because the league average free throw attempts per game is 3.5. Like we consider steals a low volume category, league average 1.1-ish. Blocks, a low volume category, league average 0.7. Threes, league average about 2. In fact, I'm going to check what that actually is at the moment. Let's check. Yeah, it's like 1.8 at the moment for threes. And then free throw attempts is 3.5, so it's obviously higher. Well, actually, now I think about it, it's higher, but it's below assists, just, and it's well below rebounds, and it's well below scoring. And it's also well below field goal attempts, which is at like 7.8, close to 8 field goal attempts per game. Meaning that there is a lot of variance. If you're only taking, let's just say 3 attempts a game as a general thing, you hit 3, 100%. Ready? Here we go. I don't even need a calculator for this. If you hit 2, 67%. If you hit 1, 33%. Look at the size of that variance. So the lower the volume of a category, the easier it can be to influence it through streaming. The more you're at risk of variance, as we know that free throw attempts or free throw percentage year on year is the highest variance year on year category. Steals behind it. The lower volume means more variance. So, all that is to say that while you might look at these guys and go, what if he only takes 2? Yeah, okay, that's 1.5 free throw attempts lower than the league average. It's not great, but it's something. Taking 2 free throws versus if someone takes 3 field goals, the 2 free throws is way more important. Cam Spencer, Jalen Wells, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Ziaire Williams, and Mike Conley. And sometimes they might get a random 4 of 4 night or a 3 of 4 night. And yeah, I hope that wasn't too tangential and that it made sense. I think sometimes that stuff's important, but other times it's me just yapping. Yappa. Today's episode is also brought to you by FanDuel. There's no better place to get in on the action than with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you miss the start of a game or you want to get in and ride a hot hand, FanDuel has live bets from everything from who will score next to betting on fourth quarter comebacks. And you can even combine your live bets into a same game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It makes you pay attention to the game. You can use your knowledge, your absolutely impeccable eye test to see what's going on and place those bets. So right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So go to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA, and don't forget to gamble responsibly. We are talking streaming for Sunday. We have gone a little bit tangential. My bad on that. Let's now take a look at some of the big man categories. Who do we stream for rebounds? There are a few available here. Steve Adams. Some player that I've never heard of by the name of Andre Drummond, which is clearly a spelling mistake for me because I'm very, very, very tired. Because we're working under the assumption, of course, that Joel Embiid is playing on Saturday. And that's not an assumption. He is playing on Saturday, but we're working on the assumption that Embiid is then out on Sunday. So he's playing Saturday, Embiid, out Sunday. Day'Ron Sharpe. Always a little risky with some of these bench bigs, because if Claxton cooks, then his minutes will be limited, but you never know. Adem Bona, who will start over Drummond. Drummond is a better rebounder, and Drummond got more minutes last time. I don't think that happens again, but Bona is still in play. And then, if you've got offensive rebounds as a category, this guy's the king at it. Mitchie Robinson, who probably doesn't hit 20 minutes, but can still get you 7, 6 maybe. Some may say 6, 7 rebounds. It's possible for Mitch Robinson. It's definitely possible. Should we do blocks? Yes, we should. Who are block streamers? Bona, the Dart Goga Badadze, Mitch Robinson. You'll notice Basketball Paul Reed. His name is there because Isaiah Stewart is doubtful. Toby Harris is out. So, at bare minimum, Reed gets the backup minutes behind Duren. I don't know whether he will play at power forward, but their other power forward options are, this could be the guy actually, it could be Javonte Green, a name to watch. It could be rugged Ronnie Holland playing alongside Asar Thompson. Who's the 3, who's the 4? Who cares? They can both be out there. And then you're down to Bobby Klintman, final day legend Tolu Smith. I think that Reed is going to get that crack. And you're going to get a little bit there of Javonte Green as well. And then the last one is Drew Eubanks, who even in 14 minutes or so can get you a block. And we'll talk a little bit more about Eubanks later. But the thing that this hinges on is Domantas Sabonis, who has missed 2 games with this rib bruise. And that would mean that Eubanks would start. And it would mean for deeper leagues that you look at guys like Maxime Reynaud or Precious Achiuwa, the big sneeze. What about for field goal percentage? Who can influence that category? A little bit harder to make a dent there because of the volume, but Adem Bona, Mitch Robinson, these guys just only take shots at the basket. Drew Eubanks, the Dart, Goga Bitadze, and once again, basketball Paul Reed. Let's talk now smalls. Let's do a contribution or a mix between the major categories. If you're in more of a guard build and you want to build your guard stats up, who can we look at? So I'm talking points, threes, assists, steals, and free throw percentage. What are some names that can help across the board there? Some of them you'll notice strengths in certain areas and weaknesses in others, and that's okay. Like Gary Trent is at the top of this list. He can get points, he can get steals, he can get threes, and occasionally assists. Then you've got Alex Caruso. He's not going to really score, but he might hit 2 threes. He might have 4 assists, and he might get 2 steals. You got Duncan Robinson. That's scoring and threes. He has improved his passing game recently, but it's not great. Then you go to the other end of this spectrum, and it's Yegor Dialman, who might hit double-digit scoring, might get 7 assists, might get 2 threes and 2 steals. And then lastly, Ziaire Williams, he's an interesting player because it's working on the smalls build, but a player that has got at least small forward eligibility and maybe even power forward eligibility. Maybe. Let's take a look at some of the bigs streaming options. In fact, we won't do that immediately because I just want to quickly talk about one of the players that does appear on that list. I won't show you the rest of the list yet. We're going to talk Drew Eubanks. Because this season, now Eubanks is, you may remember if you played fantasy a few years ago, he was an absolute silly season legend at one point, Eubanks. Putting up crazy numbers, playing for Portland when they sat everybody. If Sabonis is out, this is one to watch. He has averaged in his starts in place of the Iron Man Domantas Sabonis who never misses games. Just so happens it's happened multiple times already this season. He's missed 3 games, Sabonis? Yeah. Eubanks is averaging 26 minutes. He's averaging 1.3 steals and an absolutely insane 2.7 blocks. He is also absolutely horrific at 2 categories that you want better at. 39% from the line. But I will say this. He has never dipped under 66% once in the last 3 years. And he was over 70 in one of those seasons. Now, is that good? No, not really. Is it Andre Drummond level horrific? Also not. So there's a pretty clear indicator that he's not going to be that bad. One thing I am worried about is he just cannot rebound. His rebounding is abysmal. They got, Hartenstein dropped a 30-20 on him yesterday with him as the starting center. He's a horrific rebounder. But sometimes threes, some steals, some blocks, some field goal percentage, hopefully improvement in free throws. And he's an option for you if Sabonis is out. If. Some bigs. Adem Bona, Mitch Robinson, Steven Adams, Goga the Dart Bitadze, and then this time with his correct name, the big avocado, Andre Drummond. And that is a daily look ahead for Sunday. I hope that the moves there, or the moves that you make on your team, you're not sacrificing too much long-term value, but also the moves that you try to make to get the win on Sunday pan out for you. Unless you're playing against me, and then I hope you choke on your own vomit or something along those lines. Thumb up the video, leave a comment down below. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.